I would love to introduce you to somebody very dear and special. This is Feather. Feather has been traveling with me and through the psychic school program for a few years now. And Feather, I would just love to introduce you.
Hello, my name is Feather. I am a mother of 5, and I started psychic school with Melissa in March of 2021, and it has been an awesome ride since then.
And Feather, who do you feel like you were before you started psychic school?
So before I started psychic school, the best way to put it would be a mess. I didn't know that I was always running other people's energies, that I would just like take on so many things, and I would get upset very quickly when other people were upset. I would scream when other people would get mad. And I just thought that I just was out of control. And I was just a mom for the longest time. I was a stay-at-home mom. And so it just always worked for me how it was before.
Like how it was before, like just running other people's energy.
Yeah. And having little outbursts here and there, but just being like, oh, that's my trauma. That's from when I was a kid. But once I started psychic school, I really realized that it was other energies in me that was making me feel out of control or not being able to control myself or my anger. So that's been a huge thing for me.
So being a mom of 5 children and a stay-at-home mom for a chunk of that, so choosing to do psychic school was probably a big leap.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was. So in 2021, I had lost my job from COVID in 2020. And because I have lupus, I was really in quarantine. And at that point, I was just lost. I was like, what am I going to do? Because up until that time, I've always just been a mom. My parents are entrepreneurs, so I'd work with them if they needed help. But it was always, other people's things besides taking care of my kids. And I needed something that I could do from home because I had lupus. And when I came across Melissa, it was like, it felt right. And to take that chance, because I'd been hearing that there was something going on with me. I know that times I would get a thought on something and then it would happen. And I'd be like, that's really wild. I knew that was going to happen. But I still never knew I was like psychic. I always thought being psychic was something way different than it really is.
I feel like that's a question right there. Like now that your old thought of what a psychic was, what do you think it is now?
Oh, it's just so different. So when I first started, I just thought we closed our eyes and a movie would play and tell us everything we needed to know. They would talk to us like a conversation you and I are having. And when I realized that it was very subtle, that you need to be in your body, that you need to understand yourself, it took me a long time for it to click because I still was like, where's the movie? Where's the talking in my head? Yeah, I'll leave it there. I kind of lost my train of thought, so we'll stop there.
I want to bring it back to a question with your why. When you first saw psychic school pop up in your thread, or when you first became aware of it, did you get any intuitive hits, or did you get messages or any signs that helped you feel yes?
Yes. So what really got me to seek out Melissa to begin with was I kept hearing from my grandmother who had passed. And she kept telling me, something crazy is going to happen with my father. I actually thought that my father was going to die. And because I didn't understand it. And I went and told his entire family that he was about to die. And he didn't. but he did have a brain death. So I just interpreted it wrong. And I can look at that now and be like, that's exactly why I needed psychic school. Because I was just like, okay, if I'm psychic, it's just going to happen. I didn't realize that I needed to know tools and to know myself before I could really help others.
Yeah. And do you feel like you know yourself more now?
100%. I am actually Feather now. I am not my dad or anybody else that was around me. I know how to protect my energy. I ground myself every single day. I clear myself out every single day. I am so calm. It takes a lot to get me worked up. I want to see the good in everybody, and I love being able to help people. Especially, I come from a very traumatic background. And so I love to be able to help people recognize what their traumas were, look at it, come to like peace with it, and then, be able to move forward. And when you do that, you're able to just learn about yourself so much more. You can push out all those old energies. Doing psychic school was the best thing for me. I would have still been an out of control, crazy person if I didn't take this to know who I was. Because it's really the first Psychic 101 is all the tools to learn about you first. And then it's like you apply it to helping others. And it's very cool the way that it works out. And highly, highly recommend it for anybody.
So fast forward 2 years later, and now in Psychic School 103, how have you been able to utilize this gift to support yourself?
Wow, in so many ways. So now I work for myself. I do this as a living. You can find me on TikTok giving readings to people. I also have a private practice now that I give readings to people. It still trips me out when I hit something like so right on. It's still so exciting every day when I give a reading. I'm just so excited when they are like, oh my God, that made so much sense. Thank you so much. That helped me. Those things just brighten my day. And it's how my life has completely changed. And I'm in control of it now. I'm the one that can decide when I want to work, how much I want to work. And I don't really have to, I can work from home. I can work from anywhere. And I don't have a boss that doesn't understand. One, when you have a bunch of kids, things come up. And two, when you have an autoimmune disorder, sometimes you just can't function. And so it's beautiful to be able to do this on my own.
It's given you that flexibility.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And do you feel yourself of like the before you to the who you are now, like when it comes to feeling in your purpose or your happiness or your joy or your fulfillment, what is the difference of like the before psychic school to the now?
Oh my, before psychic school, I didn't see a future really at all. Like I didn't know what was going on. Yeah, it felt like I was just up against a wall and didn't know how I was going to take care of myself because my kids were, my baby was about to be a senior. So I was just like, I'm about to be an empty nester. And what am I going to do to take care of myself? And it just worked out so perfectly that I started in 2021. And now my baby is out of high school. She graduated last year. And I'm like working, doing this on my own, making money, being able to support me and my kids. So yeah, I think was that the question?
And what has it been like to be in the container with other people, through leadership of myself, learning from?
So I love it. Melissa really takes the time to explain something to you. And if you don't still understand it, she'll draw it out for you. If you still don't if you're still struggling, she'll meet up with you whenever is possible. I always felt really secure when I was going into class. I never felt like, I do have to say, I didn't feel like I belonged because I felt like everybody else was way ahead of me, but that was just because I didn't know how to like ground myself yet. And it took working with Melissa one-on-one for me to really be able to like move a lot of energy, be able to see my aura and understand it a little bit more. And if I didn't have that with Melissa, I probably would have dropped out of the class because it just wasn't making sense. And I thought everybody else was so much further ahead of me. When it was really, I just had to move a lot of shadow work and energy. And then once that happened, everything's just started falling into place. And the way that Melissa does it with class once a week, and you get to learn that something, and then you get a week to practice it, and then she comes back to class and you get to talk about it, and then you get to learn another new tool. And it's just so awesome the way it works out. It's done so well that you're able to also grow and change at the same time. It's not just like, here's everything you need to know and good luck. It's not that at all. You literally feel like she's holding your hand. And I give everything that I know about this to my teacher, Melissa, and I tell everybody that I can, because she changed my life completely, 100%.
Thank you, Feather. I really appreciate that. And I want to just reiterate, I remember in the beginning, you were having a little bit of blocks, and you did reach out, and we did have a private one-on-one just to see what those blocks were. And it was literally a night and day difference. Like, you moved so much energy, and then all of a sudden it was like,
yes,
like your mind and your spirit and your soul just opened wide up.
Yes. And that's all thanks to you. Because if I didn't have that one-on-one with you, I know I would have like dropped out. And if it was with somebody else, who knows if they would have been able to, help me with what like you did. You were able to see it so easily too. And you fascinate me. I wish I could get inside of your head and just look around some days, but I know we aren't to do that. But I love you dearly. And I really owe everything that's happening with me right now to you.
Thank you. I love you a lot too. Mm-hmm. And you might not want to jump in the middle of my head. Although sometimes it's like, oh yeah, there might be fascinating moments in there, and maybe things you don't want to know about Melissa in there too.
Same, right? If you jumped in mine, right?
Yeah. There's a question that's coming through that's important. Did you feel like the way you were opening up and learning, like, did it feel safe and controlled or overwhelming, or?
100% felt safe, 100% felt controlled. I did feel overwhelmed, but that was my own energy, I would say. It had nothing to do with like what you were giving us. It was that energy that I needed to move. Because I have an autoimmune disorder, I would be out of my body a lot because I didn't want to feel the pain. So I really got good at not feeling my body. And that was one thing you said to me also towards the beginning when I was like, I don't feel anything. And you picked up on it instantly. You're like, are you in your body? Do you feel your body? And I was like, no, I don't want to feel my body. It hurts. But that had to happen because it is so subtle at first. It's so subtle at first, but I promise the more you work with it, it gets bigger and you recognize it better, and you can do things a lot faster. But at first, yes, I was overwhelmed, but that was just my own energy.
So Feather, is there any last thing that you'd like to share?
I just would love to say that if you're on the fence with wanting to do 101, this is my, like, I don't know the word that's coming to me, but I just really want you to know how much it changed me, made me a better person. I found my purpose through it. And I've had a huge tragedy in my own life this past summer. My oldest son was murdered. And if it weren't for the work that I did in psychic school, I probably wouldn't be where I am right now. That's took me out. I'm still struggling. Obviously, it's only been 8 months. But if it weren't for what I learned about myself and in psychic school, I probably would be in a padded room right now and not be able to be a mother to my other 4 children because of how hard this has been for me. But I go back to running my energy, grounding myself, feeling into my spirit guides and knowing that they're there and they've got me. And it got me through 2022 when I didn't think I would be able to.
Whew. Thank you for sharing that, Feather. It's emotional.
Yeah.
And do you feel, especially during that experience, I want to also acknowledge, like, I do feel like the tools also helped, but another piece of that is, did you feel like with the friendships you've made within psychic school and that community, how has that experience been for you?
Yeah. I have been held energetically. I feel them holding me up when I can't. I've had them all send me such healing energy. And the women that I started with will always be so special to me, because we really went through a lot that first year of getting to know ourselves. And they 100% helped me get through this. And I would say also it's helpful to have them around, because they can help me with what they feel, or what they might feel from my son coming through, that my grief is holding me back from feeling. And just getting those little pieces just keep me going. And I just love it so much.
Yeah, and I agree too, being the space keeper during this journey with you. Particularly as a teacher, it's been a very profound experience, because I feel like every class starts off with a moment of deep connecting with each other. And in that container, I feel like a lot of strength and love and just connection has been built. And I really have been seeing and personally feeling just how strong and nourishing it can feel when you have people on your side that also get you, mm-hmm. and get your language and your energy, that can hold space for you without taking it on, mm-hmm. and can hold space for you and love you, and can hold space for you and see you without judgment, mm-hmm. and to just give you that sense of like freedom with warmth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In that connection.
And it's also pretty profound that we've had class on 3 of his anniversary dates. And those are the hardest days for me. But when we have class and we start and we feel my son and we give a prayer to him and they hold me through my first hour of crying through class. But it's not lost on me that that's happened. And I looked ahead and it's going to happen a few more times too. And I just know that it was meant to happen that way.
And I want to acknowledge that you also just taught your first as an apprentice, as an internship, one of your first classes. Mm-hmm. And how was that experience for you, Feather?
Oh my God, that was like a full circle moment. I sat down, I got ready, and you started asking them questions. And I was like, wait, I need to pull out my notes from when I started this out. And so I pulled it out. And what is the craziest thing was we started Psychic School 101 on March 25th, 2021. And this class that I helped Melissa in was March 25th of 2023. And that too is just amazing to me. And I just loved it to be able to see how much I've grown during that time and how I was able to share what I went through and inviting them to just really get curious, because that was one thing I just held back. I was so like, oh, I don't know what I should do. But once you really start getting curious with what you're feeling, what you're like seeing in your mind's eye, so many more things start opening up. And so I just loved being able to pass on those nuggets to the students that were starting, and just to be side by side with you and know that I'm not quite at Melissa's level yet, but I like being the apprentice.
I love it so much. And Feather, if anyone wants to work with you or to follow you, you said that you're on TikTok. So what's your TikTok handle?
So my business name is Breeze Soul Connections. So on TikTok, I am under Breeze Soul Connections. And then from there, I have a link bio that will send you to my website, which is also breezesoulconnections.com. And, but yeah, you can find me there. I do get on TikTok. I'm trying to get back on there more after my son has passed away, but I love it. And I look forward to meeting some of you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Feather, today for creating time and space and heart.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you.